Alright, what is up and welcome back to another video. We're out here in the streets of New York City. This is, what, 28th Street? So yeah, we're out here, and actually today is a very special day for me because 1 year ago, I decided to move out here to the big city. And I'm gonna spend today basically celebrating my 1 year. So right now we're on our way to my favorite bagel place in the city called Bagels and Schmear. So let's go. Hey, gonna get a bacon, egg, and cheese on everything. And do you have blueberry bagels today? No.
Cinnamon raisin is the only sweet that we have.
Okay, can I get cinnamon raisin with, do you have blueberry cream cheese? Yeah. Thank you. All right, so we got the goods secured here, coffee and a couple bagels. I'll break it down on what I got, but currently on my way to the park, Madison Square Park, which is super close. I think it's on like 26th and, what is that? Like 4th Park Avenue? Yeah. Yeah, anyways, on my way there. Also, I'm still a little bit under the weather. I was like super sick like 3 days ago, and I was just feeling like absolute ass. But on the come up, I was really hoping to be pretty much back to 100% by my 1 year day today, but it is what it is. I'm still a lot better than I was a few days ago, so yeah. But yeah, on my way to the park, and I will catch you there in a bit. All right, so we're out here at Madison Square Park. So coffee is what's propping up my phone. First one, I think this one's a, yeah, classic bacon, egg, and cheese, or BC. And then I always like to get a second one, a sweet one. So this one's a blueberry cream cheese on cinnamon raisin, I believe. They didn't have any blueberry bagels, so just picked up a cinnamon raisin as a sweet treat. So yeah, that's the move that I usually like to do. Savory one and a sweet one. So let's get this bagel unboxed. Show you that cross section right here. Oh yeah, look at that. All right, gonna take these bagels to Pound Town, and we'll figure out our next move from there. This is peak New York, I swear. Smashing a bacon, egg, and cheese in a random park somewhere. This is the life. So good. All right, absolutely destroyed that bacon, egg, and cheese. Now for the sweet option. Cinnamon raisin bagel with blueberry cream cheese. I fucking love blueberries, by the way. Like blueberry anything, I just love it. So yeah. So good. Almost ate paper there. All right, so finished polishing off the rest of those bagels and just out here walking on these streets. Also, that's the Flatiron building there. Maybe this will be my thumbnail. Okay, but anyways, got my coffee here. Honestly, this coffee is pretty ass, but it was like $3, so I can't really complain. You know, $3 for a coffee out in New York City, that's a steal out here. It doesn't matter how bad or crappy it is. But anyways, you know, I actually don't know what my next move is. I have a few hours. I'm planning on getting some dinner with friends at this like nice-ish French place by my apartment, and then head to a rooftop later on today. But oh yeah, so that's what I want to talk about. So today is my 1 year anniversary. I'm pretty sure it's to the day my 1 year anniversary out here and moving to New York City. So I wanted to celebrate, do all my favorite things, eat all my favorite foods, or at least, you know, what comes to mind. I'm sure I can't do it all, but yeah, it's not like I'm a dog that's like getting ready to get put down. Do all your favorite things and eat all your favorite foods because it's gonna be your last day. But yeah, so actually, you know, I might go to Coney Island. Also, look at the cool architecture. This is what I love about the city. But yeah, actually, subway station right there. I think that's the plan. Take my favorite train ride. So see you in a bit. All right, so we have arrived in downtown Brooklyn. So as you can see from the footage, there's a reason that's why my favorite train ride. Like, you can just see the beautiful Brooklyn Bridge and all the streets and the water, and it's just a nice view train ride. And it's actually one of the few subway rides where it actually goes above ground. So I just think it's absolutely beautiful. So yeah, we're just gonna go to the downtown Brooklyn / Dumbo area right now. I've decided that's where I'm gonna go because I don't want to stay on the train for that long. I thought about going to Coney Island, but it's just a bit too far. And then I have to ride the train back, so didn't want to do that. So we're out here in the downtown Brooklyn area, and actually, I need to go to the bathroom right now, so I'm gonna go pee, and then we'll continue the walk to the waterfront area where like Dumbo is. Okay, so potty break is accomplished, and we are just now walking towards the waterfront. So the downtown Brooklyn area, or Dumbo as it is called. I believe that area is more, this is more downtown Brooklyn, that area is more like Dumbo officially. Which, by the way, Dumbo, D-U-M-B-O, is down under Manhattan Bridge overpass? Or overlook? I can't remember exactly, but that's what it stands for. And yeah, we're just gonna be on our way. Just gonna do a little POV time-lapse clip here. Okay, so decided to cut the time lapse short because I realized that this walk is actually pretty boring. I mean, that building's kind of cool, but the rest is just like these like new age, like residential buildings, as you can see there. So not much really to look at in this area. So I'll cut the time lapse short, and then next clip will probably just be like the very touristy area, which you know and love. So yeah, we'll cut to there. And boom, look at that. We are here through the power of movie magic. So yeah, we're here at the Dumbo area. So as you can imagine, that's the Manhattan Bridge. So down under the Manhattan Bridge overpass. I don't remember. But we're here. I like this area, although, you know, as you can see, there's so many freaking tourists. But nonetheless, it's a very cute area. It's like a nice little blend of like old school and new school New York. So yeah, I'm just gonna walk around this area and then chat a little bit. There's actually like a little park area, which I'm gonna be going to. So we're on our way there right now. We out here in that park area I talked about. So there's the Brooklyn Bridge, the Manhattan Bridge back there. So yeah, I decided to cut that clip short because I was trying to dodge cars and I was just getting distracted, and quite frankly, I just could not form a coherent sentence. So we're over here, I'm gonna find a spot to sit down and chill and then talk more about my journey to New York and then also my reasons behind moving here. All right, we are here. Finally found a place to sit down and chill, which is actually right below the Brooklyn Bridge. So if you zoom in far enough, you can actually see people walking. So that's pretty cool. But I'm also gonna rest my arm here so that I don't have to hold my phone up and just fatigue the hell out of my arm. But yeah, going back to the previous conversation of why I decided to move here. So kind of going back to the beginning of why I even moved out to Portland, Oregon in the first place. I actually didn't really want to move out there. I actually graduated college right at the end of the pandemic. Not at the end, actually like towards the beginning of or like right in the middle, I guess. So like it started, March of 2020. And then I had graduated that June of 2020 and, you know, just stayed at home for a few months and just figured out my life direction. And at that point, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I had graduated college with a kinesiology degree. I thought about going back to school for athletic training, but that's just wasn't what I really wanted to do. And then I just kind of fell into personal training, and then did that, took the first job opportunity that I could after I moved up to Portland, and the rest is kind of history. And then also at the same time, I was just building my own business, making content. And if you actually go back to my YouTube videos, you scroll back far enough, back in 2020, I tried this whole YouTube thing at that point because I was just at home and I did not have anything else better to do, trapped in my college apartment by myself, and cranked out some YouTube videos, and then I just kind of fell off and didn't, obviously I think it was just a combination of like not getting the motivation of my videos taking off, and then also just wasn't really feeling like I wanted to put like that kind of content out there. So it's just a combination of both those things, and then I think everything started opening back up, and I just kind of fell off like the YouTube train. I think I was going on some life transitions of moving to Portland and all that. So but anyways, I moved up there basically just because of I had to move out there, and like I didn't really have any other choice. COVID, like I said, after COVID, things started opening back up, and I took the first job opportunity and I just moved up there. And at first it was a nice change of scenery away from college town and just the initial changes and novelty of it. But then after year one, it started getting same old. I would switch to another personal training job, and it just kind of like ate at me in the sense that all these commercial personal training jobs just absolutely sucked, where you get overworked, underpaid. They expect you to do a bunch of sales and get all the clients by yourself, but then they would take a huge cut of it. So I would hop from gym to gym, and 1 year was at Crunch. I started at Crunch, and then the next year I was at 24 Hour Fitness, and then the next year I decided to join another gym, just like a smaller privately owned gym. But then it was just all the business models were the same thing. And then actually I ended up getting a few of my clients from one of the gyms that I worked at, and they decided they wanted to leave and continue working with me. So I started working them privately, started charging them my own rates, making my own money. And then I also got a part-time job at a physical therapy clinic, and I started making some extra money there. And that was more so just to, it was some extra money, but also to kind of just to get a little bit of hands-on knowledge and experience in terms of helping people with pain and injury. So that definitely taught me a lot. It wasn't like a lot of money on the side, but it was a decent amount of money. But then also it was just nice getting that hands-on experience and knowledge now that I could sharpen my tool belt as a personal trainer to help people get out of pain and get out and recover from injury in terms of like rehabilitation, prehabilitation, that kind of stuff. So yeah, and then year after year it just felt like the same old. If you've ever been in the Pacific Northwest, you'll know that the vibe there is just very lax and chill, and people just aren't necessarily driven. I think that's the word. I mean, obviously you'll find a few people here and there who are just certainly fit into that pocket or niche of being driven, super hardworking and want to, grind really hard. But for the most part, people are just like super lax, and I think it's just the nature of it, And then also the weather was just getting kind of depressing, where 9 months out of the year it's just literally cloudy and rainy, and I just needed some sun. So, and then I just didn't want to, wait all year just for that like bit of sun in the summer for a few months. So all of those factors, and then also like at that point, like I wanted to build a bigger business, I wanted to accomplish more things. So I just wasn't getting that out in Portland, and the people that I was just surrounded with, I just was unmotivated, uninspired. All these people just didn't understand what I wanted to do and what I like currently did as like a content creator, an online coach and personal trainer and all that. So I just wanted to refocus and surround myself with people who are more aligned into what I wanted to accomplish, and also like life experiences as well. So that's what basically prompted me to move here. And I had actually visited last April, May, like towards the end. I used New York as kind of like my annual birthday trip. So my birthday is April 30th, so I believe I flew here like the 25th or 26th or something. Took I think like an 8 or 9 day trip out here to New York City, and I absolutely loved it, just being in the city. Even though I was, just playing tourist and all that, there was something about the city, like the energy, the vibe, the hustle, the grind, and it's very cliche, but I just very much felt attracted to it, and I was like, I could see myself living here. And actually, that same year I had traveled to a bunch of different cities in the U.S. Some for business, some for like fitness conferences and stuff, some to like visit friends. But I'm the type of person where I feel like I know pretty quickly whether or not I want something, and I get like a vibe from something. I'm like, okay, I could see myself like fitting in here. And certainly, I visited city like Southern California, visited San Francisco, Northern California. I visited like the Phoenix area. I visited. I did like a little East Coast trip as well. The other East Coast cities, like Philly, DC, and all that kind of stuff. And also like the southern part too, like Florida, not like the deep south, but like Texas as well, like Dallas, not the other cities. So I can't speak about that for sure. But none of them really spoke to me like New York did. There's just a unique vibe about the city, and also one of the rare things to find in any North American city now is good decent public transportation infrastructure, and New York certainly is like the best in the country for that, even though by world standards it's not that great, but by American standards, like that is like top tier. The fact that it runs frequently, it has a bunch of lines that take you through any major part of the city, like that nowhere else has that amount of coverage and frequency and reliability. So all of those things were checked off, and it just made sense for me to move here. And then, of course, I knew that this city would be hard, so kind of going into the mindset of, I knew that moving out here would be hard, it'd be a challenge, it would, it's a lot of money, there's a lot of competition, it's a lot of crap that you have to deal with that's just non-existent in other cities, like for example, like broker's fees, or just like a one bedroom costing at something astronomically high. And if I wanted something to fit in with my budget, I'd have to go back to living with roommates. In Portland, I was living in like a one bedroom and pretty decently sized, like 600 square foot, and I was just paying $1,200. And it started before inflation and all that. It was like just under 1,000, and it increased year after year. But that just goes to show that like, one bedroom here, like one with like the same qualities that I had there would probably be like close to like 2,500 or 3,000. So literally like twice or more than twice the price here. So obviously there's that, and then people speak about all the crime in New York City. Although after having been here, there's never been a point where I felt like my life was in danger. Like there's some times where it feels a little sketchy, it feels a little bit like my fight or flight response has been triggered, but never to the point of where like I'm like my life is in danger, I need to run for it, that kind of thing. So yeah. And then, it's like any other big city where you just practice common sense, and you like stay in like the more well-lit, more populated areas. You don't go to the park at night by yourself and wearing expensive jewelry or carrying around expensive things. Like, it's just common sense, right? So yeah, where was I going with this? So basically, like, yeah, I just felt inspired. And then of course, moving here wasn't easy as well. Like, I think back, I actually look at my I'm pretty bad with like short-term memory, so I actually had to look back in my calendar, and I like scrolled through my calendar, and yeah, there were a lot of trials and tribulations moving here. I actually had like a couple of jobs that I wanted to fall through. One was like actually like a full-time job working for a physical therapy company, and pay was pretty decent and everything, but they told me last minute that I needed a car. But then I sold my car like 2 weeks before that, so that kind of fell through. And then there's this personal training job that I was like, yeah, we'll totally hire you. And it was like good pay, like good benefits, like the vibe seemed good, and I felt like I did good during the interview. And then they just kind of ghosted me on that. And there were also like a few other personal training jobs where I just didn't really feel the vibe, so I had to really turn it down, or they were severely underpaying me, and then they'd be like, oh yeah, there's like we don't think we should. Like, we think this is a pretty fair pay, and it's like market average. But like, it's like $30 an hour. Like $30 an hour working, even if I worked like 30 to 40 hours, which is 30 hours per week for personal training. It's like, that's full time. You ask any personal trainer, that's like full time, because you have to train people, and then you also have to program, and you also have to like answer client questions and all that. So it's a lot. And 30 times 30, that's $900. And then times that by 4, that's $3,600 a month. And then after taxes, it's like that's like, and then, unless I have a very cheap place with roommates, that's like half of my paycheck going to rent, and then I also gotta like buy groceries and stuff. So I'm not having that much money. So I'm like, market rate is like barely surviving in the city. That just doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, I just didn't go through all those jobs, and there were some trials and tribulations. When I moved here, I kind of had to start over. All of my in-person clients left me, and I had to really build my in-person business from scratch. Online coaching was going okay. I had enough money to survive and all that. So when I first moved out here, I stayed out at Airbnb in Brooklyn, and it was pretty cheap. It's like $1,300 a month. So that just kept me afloat. Stayed out there for 2 months, and then by the third month I was able to find a place. And then, also I did not mention that I was looking really, really hard for like a roommate situation, to find like a compatible roommate to go and find a place with. And then also just being in New York, like you realize that the housing here, like looking for a place, it's almost like you're interviewing for a goddamn job. Like you have to show all your credentials, like your income, your credit check and stuff, blah, blah, blah. Like you almost have to be like, I'm a good fit for this apartment, rather than like, hey, I just want to rent this place, I'm willing to pay you money. And it's like, no, you have to pay the money. You have to like show them that like, hey, I really want to pay you money, instead of this other person wanting to pay you money. It's like, it's ridiculous how it is set up here. But anyways, it's like, all that stuff. And then all the hardships I endured, I had to like 2 or 3 roommate situations just fall through, where they just didn't want to move out with me. We just couldn't find the ideal place. And then I just kind of like stumbled upon this place that I found on LeaseBreak, which is like one of the other rental sites, and actually found this pretty good deal of like this landlord guy. He's like super chill. He didn't really check much of my background and all that. We just hopped on basically like a Zoom call, and we chatted for a bit about my background and all that. And then he's like, hey, you're a chill guy, and I get a good vibe from you, and you seem like you have money to pay me. So yeah, and I haven't missed a rent payment since then, and we've been super chill. Barely any problems come up with the apartment, and if there's anything, he sorts things out pretty quickly, and I don't bother him all that much unless there's something that I really need to get taken care of. And yeah, and then fast forward a year to today, and I have a decent client base where I can pay rent and pay all my bills and enjoy myself going out to the city. I by no means make a crap ton of money, but I make enough to be happy with my life and enjoy my life and be out here and take random trips to the city. And really, like, what more can you ask for, right? And then I'm also able to save a decent amount per month and put that into my savings, my 401k, make some investments, and save for trips and traveling and stuff like that. And life is pretty good. And like, for the first time, I've always had just this general anxiety around. I'm generally a pretty anxious person as well, and I've always just had this general anxiety of like, oh, is my business gonna follow? And like, for the first time ever, just having moved to New York City out here, I felt like, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I can see my business growing over time. Whereas, for the past 3 years I've lived out in Portland, it's always felt like my business is just going nowhere. Like, it's always just been stagnant. It's grown at a much, much, much slower pace, which, you can argue that it was growing, but it just wasn't it wasn't at the rate where I'm like, okay, my business is growing. But now it's like, I can see it growing, and like, if I look back a year from today, it was like I was in a much, much different place, like just barely being able to pay bills, barely being able to save and all that. And so very, very blessed to be in this position, and very, very grateful that I decided to move here, and things did work out in my favor. I wouldn't say it's all because of my hard work or whatever. And it's like, yeah, partially that, but also a little bit of that has to do with luck. But also, at the end of the day, some people will argue that you create your own luck, right? Where luck is just basically where opportunity meets hard work. If you just keep showing up, if you just keep being consistent, you'll eventually hit it, which then, is that luck, or is it because you consistently showed up, right? And I'd argue it's a little bit of both. Like, luck will just happen at the right time, but you also have to keep showing up for yourself and keep doing the things in order to to hit that opportunity, hit that hit that strike of luck, right? So yeah, that's all I have to say. Super grateful for everything that's come my way so far this past year, and yeah, thank you so much for listening to me ramble and rant and really be vulnerable and open up about this kind of stuff. And I'm glad that not a lot of people are watching my YouTube video, because I can just feel like I can just talk and send this out into the void. But yeah, let me know, the few people who watch this, let me know if this resonates with you at all, or if this helps you, or if this inspired you or motivated you. But I'm very grateful to be in the position that I am, and took a huge risk moving literally across the country in one of, if not the hardest city in the country to survive. And I'm grateful for all of it to have worked out in my favor, and looking forward to accomplishing bigger and better things. And thank you for joining me along for the ride. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And I'll pretty much just end it with some in this video with some clips from dinner tonight, and then also a rooftop that I'm gonna hit tonight as well. How I'm gonna celebrate. I've just invited a few friends. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, overall, this was a very good move for me, and I definitely love the city. There's more opportunity than anything. I've started building back up my social circle, and it finally feels like it's getting somewhere. Obviously, like I said, my business is in a decent place now, and yeah, it feels like I've restarted. And it's cliche, like New York is like the place of rebirth for a lot of people, and certainly I feel like there's a lot of opportunity here if you know where to look for and how to look for it. But yeah, so wherever you are in life, I just want to say, keep going and keep looking for that opportunity, keep pushing. And if you do need to, change your environment, because you never know what's going to happen. And I think the worst thing you can do is, when you're going through a tough time, is just staying where you are and not trying to change anything, because if nothing changes, then nothing changes, right? So yeah, I'll end it at that, and yeah, we'll see what the future holds. All right, so went home, took a nap, showered, and now on my way to dinner. But wanted to hop on here and say that I rambled quite a bit when I was under the bridge, but I think the thing that I was trying to get at was that even through all the different trials and tribulations I've faced while out here in the city, is definitely made me into a much more resilient and persistent person. And even though I had a bunch of opportunities and doors sort of shut in my face or turned down, this job opportunity, that it certainly sucked in the moment. But as I think back now, it was sort of like a blessing in disguise. And that's certainly a very hard thing to realize, especially when you're going through the moment, going through all the shitty emotions of getting rejected or getting doors shut in your face, and you're like, why is this happening to me? I'm trying super hard and putting my effort into all of this. I'm not getting the results and rewards that I want. So if there's anything, as someone who has lived it this past year in one of the hardest cities in the world, then I urge you to just keep going and keep pushing and keep showing up, because for every door shut in your face, you're one step closer to the door that's going to open in your face, and you're going to be in a better place as a result. So yeah, keep going. Anyways, heading over to dinner, and restaurant's right here. There's a massive ass line, so I don't know how long we're gonna wait for. All right, it is currently 1:45 a.m. in the streets out in New York City, and ended up grabbing dinner at that French place, like I said, hang out with my friends, and then afterward we took the train down to. We're gonna go to this rooftop bar called Overstory, but it ended up being an hour and a half to 2 hour wait, so we ended up not doing that. We ended up pivoting to this pretty cool bar called France's Tavern. It was more like a tavern pub vibe, but it was established in 1760 or something like that. But so yeah, that was pretty cool. It's where George Washington's had something, and it's a pretty cool, just historic place to go to. So we ended up grabbing a drink there afterward, and then On our way home, we were actually called back to Overstory, and I really wanted to go to like a rooftop place, but we just ended up just not feeling it. We were all just tired. We're all old and tired, so we can't hang and stay out late anymore. So we ended up deciding to go try to find another. We actually hopped onto the train, and by the time we hopped on, they gave us a text and they're like, "Oh, your party is ready." So yeah, but we ended up not going there. We ended up pivoting to this other rooftop place, which just wasn't the vibe. Just the views just weren't as good. So ended up having a little photo shoot out in the that Midtown East Greenway, which I showed you in a few videos ago. And it's actually pretty cool at night. I've never gone out there at night, so pretty cool experience. But just said goodbye to my friends not that long ago, and then walking on my way home. And so walking from the Midtown East Greenway, so just from here probably like another 3-minute walk or so. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for my full 1 year day in New York. And yeah, I think all things considered, like, it's been a wild year, and like I said, a lot of trials and tribulations, but I am glad to have endured through them and become a much more resilient, much more endurant, much more persistent, a stronger, smarter man as a result. And yeah, just keep pushing through, and eventually you'll find the light at the end of the tunnel. You'll come out the other side as a better version of your previous self. So yeah, it's crazy to think about. It's already been 1 year, and yeah, I'm looking forward to bigger and better things for the next year and the next year after that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff that helps the channel out. And I'll catch you in the next one. I'm so ready for a hot shower and then go to bed. All right, peace out.